In this video, I'm going to show you how to enlarge an image using the grid drawing method. So my initial image I printed here is one of the fairies from Sleeping Beauty, the green fairy, and this is a 3x3 image. So I put, by using a ruler, the 16 squares. So if you have your 0 to 3, you mark at 3/4, 1 1/2, and 2 1/4. And you do that both directions. So I have the 0, I draw a line, 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and then that way I have 16 even squares. So this is a 3x3 square. My final draft paper is a 12x12. I have 16 squares on here as well. So if I go back in and I show you my measuring, at 0 on the edge, at 12 on the end, I marked at 3, 6, and 9 one way, and then I marked it at 3, 6, and 9 the other way. So then I know I have 16 even squares on my final draft as well. I've already started this drawing, and the reason why I'm showing you on this larger scale here is because enlargement is key with grid drawing. Grid drawing really helps artists who create murals and who draw and paint on a large scale because it provides accuracy. So if this is a 3x3 and this paper is a 12x12, that means that the final image is 4 times larger than the initial image. So what I'm going to do here, it looks like I've already done A, B, C, and D one, the first row, and then I've already completed B, C, and D two, and I've kind of started to make my way down to C3 and so on. I think what I'll go ahead and I'll do next is I will focus on D3, which is this square here. The very first thing that you want to do, okay, forget about the rest of the drawing, only focus on, okay, we're going to do D3. It doesn't matter what it is that you're drawing at all, forget what you're drawing and just focus on line and shape. You also want to focus on plotting. So always focus on where is the halfway point. That's the first step you want to do. You're going to mark up this drawing everywhere. So at the halfway point between this corner and this corner is about here. So then you go ahead and you plot that on the same spot on your final. Between here and here is halfway. So I'm noticing this diagonal line right here is the first one I want to put down. It goes through, it passes through this line right to the right of half. If this is a quarter right here, and this is a quarter, it's going to be actually probably in between. I have that line kind of a little bit to the left. So it's about right here. Okay, so then I want to continue this line, boop, 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 and it ends right here. So between this line and this corner on this line, if this is halfway, between this corner and this is halfway, right? And this is a quarter, and this is a quarter. This line does go through and it meets at a quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and just mimic. I'm sketching very lightly. What does that line look like? And it's pretty soft. I'm not going to have a hard edge. I'm not going to use a ruler. Okay, just nice and sketchy gesture. And I'm just going to get that in there, and that line will continue into the next square, but we're not focusing on that square right now. So I also see kind of a transparent little piece of fabric here for her hat. So if this is half, this piece stops right here. I go straight up, it stops to the left of half. So about right here, and I'm making that little line. And then if we're at half right here, and this is a quarter, I'm gonna go right here and see where does this touch. And if I go over here, it's about above a quarter. So here's half, here's a quarter. So where this piece of fabric touches the line we did first, if I go over to the right, it's right above a quarter. So I'm gonna go here, okay? And it's actually, whoops, I'm in the wrong square. How did I do that? So if it's right above a quarter, I'm gonna go right here. So here it is, okay? So this is where that starts. And then I'm gonna go, it goes down and it goes in. So add a diagonal, soft curve and another soft curve. It goes down, where does that stop? At about half. Here's half. Okay, so I'm just gonna draw a little line right here for guidance. And it goes to the left and it goes down again and to the left again. So where does it go? If it goes down to half at a curve and it goes to the left, it doesn't touch this line. It touches it at about right here. It's pretty close. So I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna create that space, okay? I'm just gonna kind of mimic what the initial drawing looks like. And I'm gonna go back down and in, and this ends where? At about right here, way below a quarter. So I'm gonna copy that drawing again. I'm gonna go down and it goes out, okay? And you wanna try to have 100% accuracy, but you know, you're not the initial artist here. This isn't your work. You're repeating someone's artwork. You're replicating it. So it doesn't have to be totally perfect. You want it to be recognizable and you want to try your best for accuracy. But, you know, if little stuff like this is not a nose or an eye, you know, on someone's face, it doesn't have to be totally perfectly exact. That's the goal, but it doesn't have to. So then I'm going to stop here, and now I'm done with this square. So I know I can move on to C3, okay? If you want to bounce around, you can do that too, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is, here's half, okay? And here's half. And this line goes through, if this is a quarter, and this is a quarter, it does go through at about a quarter. Okay, so I'm just going to continue that from D3, and now I'm in C3, it goes through this line at a quarter. Notice it does go all the way over to B4. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here because I'm still on C3. Let's just focus on C3 by itself. This line does continue and it goes in again and down again about right here. So let's do that really quick. That kind of stuff you can eyeball. You don't necessarily have to measure that kind of stuff. It's just real fast, right? Okay, now I want to figure out her hair. So where does it end? That's the thing that you really want to figure out. Where does it stop and start within the space? If this is half and this is a quarter, we're right below there. And conveniently for us, the hair does stop at the same area where her eye is, the bottom of her eye. So if this is a quarter, so if I'm at half right here and I'm at a quarter right here, I'm looking to see this hair stops in between half and, in between a quarter and the end. So if I go across right here, that's where it is, but then where is it on this line? You have to do 2 lines for each thing you're plotting. If this is half and this is a quarter, it's right here on the left. So here's half, here's a quarter. It's right to the left of half, about right here. Okay, so I'm in the right area. So I'm going to take this curve, it curves up and it goes in. And it goes in at half, here's half, and it's right above half. Here's half, it goes in about here. But then on this line, how far in does it go? It goes this tall, but where does it end on this space? So if I'm at half, and here's a quarter, and I go, okay, where's this stopping point? And I go straight up. Here's half, here's a quarter, it's to the right. So I'm right here. So I've plotted 2 lines, okay? So it's kind of like you're doing math in a way. You're just plotting almost like a graph, but you have to figure out which plots you need, right? And the plots that you need are always going to be the stopping and starting points of each line. So I figured out, where did this line start? Right here at the same height as the eye. It goes up vertically at a little bit of a curve, and where does it stop? Yes, this line continues this way, but each movement, each direction, where is it? Okay, so if I am at above half and I'm at a quarter here, almost to the right of a quarter, then I know I could take this line. It does go extend a little tiny bit. I'm gonna go here. There's that line. And when you're drawing this, you're gonna be like, whoa, it's that big? Yes, that's the illusion that happens with enlarging an image using grid. What's cool about this is her hair goes through at the corner. Yay, us. Sometimes you get a little bit of a break like that. It's kind of cool. So I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna copy that line. Here we go. That was nice and easy. That one. And then she has an eyebrow. If I go at a diagonal right here, if I make a little diagonal, her eyebrow is right here that stops and starts. Okay, so it starts here, it ends here. If I'm at half, half, and I go right below half, yep, right here, okay. Her eyebrow stops right there, but where is it on this other line? If I go straight up, it's to the left of a quarter. Is it halfway in between? Yes, pretty much. So I'm gonna go right here. This is how I could find out. This is where the bottom of her eyebrow is. Then it does kind of go vertical and straight, so it goes in at a quarter. Here's half, here's a quarter. I'm gonna just now copy the line for her eyebrow. It's kind of straight out and down a little bit. Okay, and then I wanna kind of do the thickness too. And you wanna double that line up a little bit. It does get thicker up here and it's thinner at the bottom. So then I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna erase the stuff I don't need anymore, all my plotting lines. Okay, you just wanna keep and clean it up and keep your lines that you're gonna have for the actual drawing itself, right? Okay, you can clean it up again once you've actually really finished the drawing. So notice her eye comes into this square just a little tiny bit. So if I'm at half and her eye's about right here for this part of it, okay, and it goes out only a little tiny bit past the line and it goes back in about right here, which is exactly where the hair was, which we decided earlier. Okay, so half, right below half, I'm actually gonna just copy that line super little. You can almost really barely see it, but it is important to, okay, make sure that you're focusing on all the little tiny stuff. Okay, so now I am finished with C3, and you can continue as you go, and I will try to make you guys another video so that I could show you the rest of this drawing.